our fourth game of the day. And again, it's the championship matchup between two teams who have definitely earned the right to be in this contest, Dustin.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a couple of superb clubs, the Champaign Centennial team. This is going to be my first chance to get a look at them today, but you have spoken glowingly about the skill and athleticism that they bring to the table. And Lincoln Way East is just always a good team. They have won. They've won 2 out of the last 3 championships at this tournament, I believe, and they just always bring a solid team down here. They love coming down here because of the great competition they get to see, and they're always well coached and skilled, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good basketball game.
Yeah, you mentioned that about Lincoln Way East. I'm impressed with Champaign Centennial under head coach Tim Lavin. Obviously, they have played well to get to this spot, and they have also conducted themselves in a classy way, and I don't think it's any sort of secret that sort of thing doesn't go hand in hand when you reach this level of competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a sure thing, is it? But, I don't expect any of that kind of side stuff to be a problem with the game here tonight. I just expect a really high-quality, competitive basketball game, and that's really what it's all about. We have gone on and on over the last 3 days about what this field is like, what the quality of this tournament is like, and that's not just about the play on the floor, but that is about the teams that they bring in and the kind of people that are associated with these programs. It's just been it's just a really good overall setting for holiday tournament basketball.
It is a great venue with the 2 facilities here at Effingham and at Teutopolis. They combined forces to make this tournament happen, and it certainly has been a lot of fun. We'll get you set up with how Lincoln Way East got here, how Champaign Centennial earned their right as well into this championship game. We'll tell you about all of the scores from the final day of activity as we get you set up for Champaign Centennial and Lincoln Way East in the championship game of the Christmas Classic on 97.9 XFM.
Stay protected. Tom Henderson State Farm Insurance helps people manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and help you realize your dreams. Contact Tom Henderson today.
Person-to-person money transfer. Easy, the way it should be. Learn more at crossroadsbank.com. Crossroads Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Northside Ford on North Keller Drive in Effingham will find a vehicle that works for you. Check out Northside Ford's selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs today.
Compass Advisory Group is here to guide you in the right direction for all of your investment and insurance needs. Contact Kurt Strohmeyer or Corey McDaniel at 217-347-9697.
Hi, this is Kathy from Barlow Lock and Security. Secure your home or business with a customized system from us. Good luck, area teams, in the tournament.
Since 1937, Geckner Brothers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has been proud to support local and area teams, and that continues with this year's Christmas Classic. Good luck, area teams, from the family at Geckner Brothers.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking easy and convenient.
Welcome back to Game 32 of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. I'm Matt Robinson, Dustin White, and I getting you set during the pregame show for this matchup between Lincoln Way East and Champaign Centennial. No truth to the rumor that we did all 32 games of this tournament, but we sure covered a lot of them. Thanks to all of our great sponsors for helping us out with the broadcasts. We couldn't do it without them. We really appreciate everybody stepping up and helping us bring you high school basketball, as well as our sponsors that have jumped on for the live streaming as well, as we are happy to do that in this championship game. Maybe get some folks from Lincoln Way East and Champaign Centennial that were unable to make the trip down an opportunity to see these kids take the court. But I tell you what, overall, Dustin, for having 2, quote, out-of-town teams, there's a pretty nice crowd here in this gymnasium.
Yeah, I think you're always going to get some of that local interest, and I've kind of watched people filing in as we were watching the third place game, and you definitely see some familiar faces walking in the doorway of the Effingham High School gym. Former and current local coaches that just want to see good basketball, and some of those people that just always seem to find their way into the stands when there's kind of a high-profile matchup happening in the area. So it's a good collection of people here, and Champaign especially, not a long way to come for a big basketball game like this, especially on a Saturday night.
And it worked out well. Again, a lot of fans from there. And Lincoln Way East, a little bit more of a jaunt, but of course they expect, they know that coming into this tournament, but they always are more than happy to return.
Well, and their coach, Rich Columbus, that's one of the things he talks about when he when I've had a chance to talk to him about this tournament and why he likes to bring his boys here. They like to get away for a few days. They like the camaraderie that it builds. They get to, get some hotel rooms and hang out together and just be away, get away from everything and just be together for a few days. They really relish that time, and I think it's really what attracts some of those northern Chicago area schools down to our tournament here in Effingham.
And it's a well-run tournament thanks to the tournament committees, the athletic directors, the schools that put this on. It takes an army. There's so much going on behind the scenes at this tournament. If you see a committee member, thank them for their time and for their effort. Well, let's talk about our day. It began at 10 a.m. in the auxiliary gym as Effingham took on Seneca, and took on Belvedere, and Belvedere came away with a 59-46 victory. It was then Charleston and Seneca matched up, and it was Seneca that came away with the win in that one at 11:30. Those games played in the auxiliary gym. Here in the main gym, it was Pleasant Plains picking up a victory over Chicago Brooks in the 11th place game, 56-31. And then it was Newton defeating Mattoon in the consolation championship a little later this afternoon at 4:30. Newton won that one 53-40. In the 5th place bracket, 7th place game took place between Teutopolis and Oaklawn, and it was Teutopolis defeating Oaklawn by a score of 56-46 at 11:30 this morning. Then at 3 this afternoon, game we had for you that was a thriller, Highland came away with the win 56-53 as St. Anthony made a charge late but just couldn't get over that hump. But still a great effort for the Bulldogs in that one. 3rd place game just wrapped up, and it was a doozy. In overtime, it was Lutheran North defeating Dixon 69-63, and that sets us up for the championship, Lincoln Way East and Champaign Centennial.
Really looking forward to it. Getting just done with warm-ups here. Crowd is buzzing. I'm ready.
I am too. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the national anthem and get you your starting lineups in 60 seconds on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Washington Savings Bank is proud to be celebrating 140.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking easy and convenient.
Heartland Human Services is proud to sponsor the Christmas Classic Championship. Your physical and mental health are similar. Take care of both for a happy, healthy life. If you have a passion for helping others, please apply today. Visit heartlandhs.org.
Come see all the new and exciting Chevrolet and Toyota vehicles here at Dan Heck Chevrolet Toyota, South Route 45 in Effingham, or shop and buy 24/7 at danheck.com.
Looks like Effingham American Legion Post 120 is going to present the colors in front of this crowd. And again, it's a nice crowd here at Effingham High School for the championship game of this Lincoln Way East Champaign Centennial matchup of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. Again, national anthem with the colors presented by American Legion Post 120. They are always so generous with their time and making sure we respect the American flag. The crowd stands at attention as the flag is escorted off the court by Effingham American Legion post 120 as the pageantry is wrapping up and we are getting closer to the tip between Lincoln Way East and the Centennial Chargers. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the visitors on the card. That'll be Rick Columbus's Lincoln Way East. They come into this contest with a record of 8-4. They will start Brent Taylor, number 1, a 6'3 junior. He has 37 tournament points thus far. He's joined out there by number 2, B.J. Powell. Powell, a 6-foot sophomore, the leading scorer in the tournament for Lincoln Way East at 55 points. Carson Thomas, not far behind him, a 6'3 sophomore wearing number 4 with 41 tournament points. Brendan Sanders gets the call at a forward spot. He's a 6'5 junior wearing number 3 with 12 tournament points. And also Jacob Alexander, a 6'4 sophomore with 12 tournament points for the Lincoln Way East club, as they are coached again by Rich Columbus. Had a lot of success here at this Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic in years past, and they are looking for some more here tonight. But they have their hands full with the Champaign Centennial Club. The Chargers are 10-3 on the season as Tim Lavin will start. Todd McAboo, a 5'11 senior wearing number 21. The guard has 32 tournament points. O'Neal Johnson is a shooter from beyond the arc. He's a 6'1 junior, number 23. He has 35 tournament points. Kellen Foltz, a 6'1 junior, number 25, has 20 tournament points, but he rebounds well inside and pushes the pace. Voldy McAboo, a 6'4 junior, number 30, has 14 tournament points, and he has played well inside. And rounding out the lineup is Jaden Schlib. Schlib, a 6'5 sophomore with 45 tournament points, but he had 28 in the semifinals, propelling them to this championship contest for the Chargers. Dustin, we are getting set for the championship game. Our officials are going to be Travis Wyatt, Mike Leakty, and Steve Boswell, with Steve Boswell being the lead official.
Yep, he's getting ready to toss it up. Everybody getting those final instructions out on the floor, and we are ready for a championship game, the 10th annual installment of this tournament, and looking forward to a good finish once again.
Well, it's the Griffins and the Chargers, as Jacob Alexander is going to jump it up for the Lincoln Way East Griffins against Voldy McAboo for the Champaign Centennial Chargers. McAboo wins the tip. He knocks it back to his brother, Todd McAboo, and we are underway. They go to Jordan Schlib on the right side. He bounces it in the post to O'Neal. O'Neal had it knocked loose, but he scrambles out to the wing to get it back. Man-to-man for Lincoln Way East as the Griffins are in their black uniforms with white outline numbers. It's going to be a little tricky to pick up some of their numbers some of the time. They've got blue inside that outline on a black uniform. Voldy McAboo with it on the right side as it's just been spun around the perimeter. They get it back out top to Schlib. He's way out on the right wing, but he's going to pull up for a long three. It's no good. Long rebound, though, grabbed by Todd McAboo out on the perimeter. He works it to the center circle. They get it on the wing. Now back to Schlib. Drives the lane. Looks to Voldy McAboo for a wing jumper from 15. No good. And the rebound was grabbed out of there by Carson Thomas for Lincoln Way East. They push it up with Brent Taylor. He swings it around the perimeter to Powell. B.J. Powell moves to the center circle. Now goes to the right side. They get it out top to Taylor. Taylor spins it over on the left side to Sanders. Sanders, lob pass inside, off target as Carson Thomas couldn't quite get it at the rim, and it's taken away by the Chargers. But now at the half-court line, Taylor gets a steal. He drives for the basket, and the Griffins have the first 2 points of the ball game.
Yeah, after almost getting that lob dunk to go, they take advantage of the first turnover of the game and get the first 2 points.
Schlib has it on the left wing. 6:26 to play in the first quarter. Working against the man-to-man. He spins to the free throw line. Looks for Voldy McAboo on the baseline. Gets to Foltz in the point. Back out to McAboo. Voldy circles it to Todd McAboo. He's between the center circle and the top of the key. They go to Foltz left wing. Inside, O'Neal with a shot fake. Now drives the left side. Help defense. Denies the first shot. O'Neal gets it back. And now a jump ball whistled as Lincoln Way East tied up the Champaign Centennial Chargers inside.
So after O'Neal Johnson gets that offensive rebound, the tie-up has to kind of give it to go the other way. So you got to call that a turnover, and Lincoln Way East with the basketball.
East has it on the right wing with Taylor. They skip it to the left side. B.J. Powell, open three off the rim, no good. Rebound, Voldy McAboo. He leaves it with Schlib. Schlib brings it up the left side, bounces it. Nope, faked me out. He goes baseline, lays it up and in. I thought he left it with O'Neal, but he just exploded to the basket, and Jaden Schlib ties the game at 2.
Yeah, he missed a three-pointer earlier, gets that one to go. Nice move to the basket.
Carson Thomas handling out on the perimeter, lost the handle, picks it up, now needs some help, and B.J. Powell pops out to the relief. He hands it off to Sanders. Sanders sends it over on the right side to Taylor. Deep three, Steph Curry range for Taylor, and he buries it.
I mean, he was 6 feet behind the line.
5-2 the score, as Lincoln Way East has the three-point lead. McAboo works it out to Schlib. That's a deep three from the top of the key, off the mark. Rebound loose. Fultz ends up with it, muscles up towards the basket. Shot's no good because he's fouled by Jacob Alexander. The big man from East picks up his first personal.
So far what we're seeing from the Chargers is Champaign Centennial is that they're doing pretty good work on the offensive glass. Already 3 rebounds on their end of the floor. Leads to this free throw trip for Fultz here.
Shot is up and good. Fultz, the 6'1 junior, has his first point of the ball game. And you look at the Griffin lineup, 2 juniors, 3 sophomores out there in the starting lineup for a team that's made the championship game here at the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. Next one for Fultz. Rebound is long. Schlib has it. The sophomore takes it to the wing and buries a deep three.
Schlib tapped that rebound up to himself, and it carried him out to the wing, and he's like, well, I'll pull the trigger, and he's got 5 points.
So it's a 1-point lead for Centennial after the made free throw and then the 3-point shot. Centennial applies the full court 2-2-1. East gets it up court quickly to Taylor. He fires another deep three. That one was well off the mark. Voldy McAboo the rebound to Todd McAboo. Loses it in the lane. He's triple team, flips it out in the corner to O'Neal Johnson. He fires a three. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Alexander. He got stripped of the ball but gets it back. Now again McAboo takes it away, goes to the floor and flips it out to his brother Voldy McAboo.
That's the first Lincoln Way turnover, by the way.
To Schlib, who tried to drive baseline. He was cut off by Thomas, and Thomas is going to be called for a foul.
First foul for Carson Thomas, second for the Griffins.
So with 4:12 to play in the first quarter, Chargers looking to inbounds the ball. They go out top to Johnson. Johnson flips it back to Fultz. Fultz on the right wing. Gets it out top to Schlib, the slender sophomore. Guarded closely. He's going to drive left side. Jump stop. He got tied up. One official calls a travel, and the other says, yep, we'll stick with that. And so it'll be a turnover for East.
And it just kind of got airborne and didn't have anywhere to go. So Champaign Centennial, 3 turnovers are in the early going, and Lincoln Way East with a chance to maybe get out front here.
East bounces it on the wing. Holding it over there is Sanders. He moves. Nope, that's not Sanders. It's Thomas. He moved to the free throw line and buries the jumper. Nice little pull-up jumper for Carson Thomas.
And coming off the screen there and finds himself some room, elevates and gets it to go down, and the Griffins have the advantage.
7-6 with 3:33 on the first quarter clock. Fultz at the high post at the free throw line. Backs it out to the top of the key and goes to Schlib, left wing. Schlib takes it towards the left corner. Up and under move. He steps through. Shot off the glass is good.
Wow.
Jaden Schlib showing off the repertoire here.
Yeah, I mean, going to the rim, then the three-pointer, stepping back, and right there, just a little hesitation move and a leaner off the glass. He's kind of hit 3 different sorts of buckets.
Jason Alexander, the big man on the court, 6'4 sophomore, takes it down to the right corner, matched up with Todd McAboo. He sends it out top to Thomas. Thomas fakes a 3, drives down the left side of the lane. We've got a whistle and a foul as the Chargers are going to be called for the bump.
I think that the official indicated that was in the act of shooting, so a couple of free throws coming up here is the first foul against, or actually the first foul against Centennial goes against O'Neal Johnson.
So, East at the line, in particular Carson Thomas, the first free throw found its way home. Wasn't the prettiest of shots, but all it has to do is get through the bottom of the net.
I'm curious to see if that's the way Carson shoots it every time or not. A little bit of jerky around the feet when he lets that one go.
Jack Mannion checks into the ball game, a 6'7 senior. He replaces Alexander as that free throw's up and in as well for Thomas.
A little smoother that time, so I think there was a little hitch in there for Thomas. He didn't mean to, but hey, he goes 2 for 2. You take him any way you get him.
Little token three-quarter court pressure, not putting much pressure on the Chargers, but they do have to seesaw it back and forth to get it to the timeline. Now they go into middle to Todd McAboo, out on the corner to Johnson. He loads up a 3, and flying in and grabbing the rebound is Sanders for East. Lincoln Way East. East is what's on the front of their uniforms. Holds it out top as that pass from Jack Mannion was off target, sailed out of bounds.
I'm not sure. There were a couple of different Lincoln Way East players that it might have been intended for, but it kind of split the difference between them, and they're kind of talking it over. Who was it supposed to be for? Whoever it was, it's the second Griffin turnover.
Mannion said, yeah, it was for you, to both of them, I think. Inbounds and backcourt to Todd McAboo. He looks on the side to Foltz, now to Schlib, top of the key, to McAboo. That's Todd in the right corner, inside to a posting Foltz. Back out to Todd McAboo, spots the Cotter Johnson. He leaves it with Voldy McAboo, now to the wing for 3 for Schlib, and he connects again. He has 10 of the 11, and the Chargers are back out in front by 2.
Yeah, Schlib is a one-man wrecking crew for Centennial so far.
And he is so smooth with it, too.
Absolutely.
B.J. Powell on the right side. He works to the baseline, draws a couple of defenders, flips up a runner, and it's good. That sophomore says, I can score 2.
A good touch there on the baseline.
Ties it at 11. Minute 38 on the clock as Schlib crosses the timeline. Looks it over, takes it to the left side. Now bounces it out top. Dangerous pass that actually got kicked. That's kind of a break for East. It probably, or for Chargers, probably would have been out of bounds off of East anyway. But dangerous pass. They got away with it that time.
Yeah, Brent Taylor and B.J. Powell double denying the recipient of that pass. Just that one had bad news written all over it for the Chargers, but they're able to maintain possession. They get a couple subs in.
Demaria Willis, number 11, a 5'10 junior in. Also, a big man, Caton P, 6'5 sophomore, and I think they measured him early. He might be a little taller than that. They give it to Willis. He drives right to the basket. The rebound is batted around and finally controlled by Taylor. Here comes East with it. Up the court. They get it in the corner. Powell loads up a 3. I believe it's Powell. Yes, indeed. B.J. Powell with his second bucket, essentially in a row, makes it 14-11 with a minute to play. Todd McAboo this time says, I'm going right to the basket as he just blasted it up the right side and ultimately got fouled by the help defender.
Well, I mean, with either of these teams, you better not slack off on the transition defense or you're going to get beat down the floor. They show that. McAboo right there, he just burned it up the right side, and nobody was really ready for it. By the time they recovered, they're fouling them in the act of shooting. That was Jack Mannion picking up the personal.
Free throw up and good for Todd McAboo as he has his first point of the ball game, and he's the only McAboo out there right now with 3 on the roster, so that'll help up me just a little bit.
Will Buchanan gets in the game for East, by the way. Yeah, we need 3 McAboos at the same time, I think.
Okay. We'll see what happens. I guess I'll only have to use first names.
Just go
then.
First names.
Yeah. Here's the next one from Todd McAboo. It's nothing but net. He has his second point, and it's a 1-point game again, 14-13 with just under a minute to go. Inbounds pass is knocked loose by McAboo. It's along the sideline, but he just couldn't secure it. Good hustle, but it will remain with East.
They actually trapped on the opposite side of the floor, and that high pass was kind of in no man's land, sort of a free safety ball for McAboo to go get. He got a hand on it, but could not corral it.
But the thing he did well is not go through the other player. He got to it without contact. Now East working it around the perimeter. They've got it in the hands of Buchanan. Buchanan looks on the wing where they find Sanders. Sanders takes it out to the center circle and leaves it with Powell. Powell works it to the right side. They're way out on the perimeter, and they get it to Thomas. Thomas sees the man close enough to cause a 5 count, so they work it in the corner to Jack Mannion. He thought about a 3, or at least wanted them to think he thought about it.
He might have thought twice about it.
But he gets it out to Carson Thomas. Thomas hands it off to Powell at the center circle. Powell on the dribble, took it over to the left side, now back to the top of the key. Looks for help now as he's picked up his dribble on the right wing, and Todd McAboo ties him up. And he actually came out of there with it, but the official said it was tied up long enough, so McAboo couldn't get off to the races.
Either way, it's going Lincoln Way East or Champaign Centennial's direction.
3 seconds on the clock. Running it up court. They get it to Fultz. Corner three, no good. As penetration from Demario Willis set Fultz up for the three, but it was just short at the end of the first quarter. After one, we've got a good one like we thought in the championship game of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. It's Lincoln Way East 14, Champaign Centennial 13 on 97.9 XFM.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Northside Ford on North Color Drive in Effingham will find a vehicle that works for you. Check out Northside Ford's selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs today.
Diedrich Bank is proud to sponsor the 10th Annual Christmas Classic. Diedrich Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Heartland Human Services is proud to sponsor the Christmas Classic Championship. Your physical and mental health are similar. Take care of both for a happy, healthy life. If you have a passion for helping others, please apply today. Visit heartlandhs.org. Video and audio streaming of the 10th Annual Christmas Classic Championship Game is proudly presented by Premier Broadcasting, Classic Hits 97.9 XFM, and KJ Country 102.3.
14-13, Lincoln Way East leads Champaign Centennial after a quarter of play in the championship game here at the Christmas Classic. Centennial didn't shoot as well as Lincoln Way East, but got more up. They were 4 for 12 from the field, 3 out of 4 at the free throw line, 2 for 7 from three-point range. The Griffins of Lincoln Way East, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 out of 2 at the free throw line, and 2 for 4 on their three-pointers. Centennial out-rebounded Lincoln Way East 7-4. Turnovers were even at 3 apiece.
That's the voice of Dustin White. I'm Matt Robinson. Thanks for joining us for this championship game. As East has it to start the second quarter, they swing it around the perimeter to Sanders on the wing. He brings it to the top of the key and leaves it with Powell. Powell backs away from the defense to the center circle. Now looks to Brent Taylor. Taylor from the wing drives into the lane, looks in the corner. He finds a teammate open for three. Sanders fires it up there, hits the rim, and then hits the support structure of the basket as it bounced high in the air, and it'll go to the Chargers.
Almost dropped in after it hit that support there, but of course it's a dead ball once that happens.
So Champaign Centennial trailing by 1. They look for the backdoor cutter, McAboo, and the pass was a little out in front. McAboo tried to save it along the baseline, but got a toe on that line, and it'll be a turnover, giving it to Lincoln Way East.
Yeah, you're right. The pass just a little bit off the mark, and he tried his best to stay in bounds, but that's the first Centennial turnover of the period.
Brent Taylor with it on the right wing, looks to the cutter inside, and that's Sanders. Sanders bumped on his way to the basket, and Sanders is going to head to the free throw line for a couple.
Well, but what's Taylor, again, 3-4 feet behind the arc, he shot faked, and they have to respect that after he made that one in the first quarter, so everyone stands out on him, gives him a little more space to make that post-entry feed, and it leads to this trip to the free throw line.
So Brendan Sanders has his first point. He's the fourth player to score in the early going here of the second quarter for Lincoln Way East, as O'Neal Johnson checks back in, 6'1 junior, will give Kellen Fultz a breather for the Chargers.
That was Caden Pete, by the way, picking up his first fouls for Centennial, and of course the first team foul for the Chargers this quarter.
Next free throw is up and good. Sanders connected on both. He has his first 2 points, and it's again a 3-point lead for Lincoln Way East. That's their largest lead. They match it here, and Champaign Centennial is led by 1 a few times. Demario Willis across the timeline tried to pass it back to Schlib, as that was just a wild pass when he saw the defense coming to double team.
Yeah, Schlib's listed at 6'5". He needed to be about 10'5" to catch that pass, and that's his second turnover for the Chargers.
So Lincoln Way East will set things up with Powell as he gets it across midcourt to Brendan Sanders. Sanders on the right wing goes out top and cuts underneath. They find him, but Schlib swats the shot, but Brendan Sanders grabs the loose ball rebound. Alexander, who's back into the ball game, hit him with a nice backdoor cut, but Schlib with a great recovery. Now Alexander's going to work from the wing, drive in against Pete, forced up one there, and the loose ball rebound grabbed by McAboo. He just blasted up the right side. Todd McAboo got a little out of control at the end of that, though, and the rebound to Powell for Lincoln Way East, and will roll the other way. Taylor looks for the cutter in the lane. Carson Thomas appeared to be rising for a dunk, and it got blocked. Schlib comes out of there with it to O'Neal Johnson. He flips it back to Pete. His shot right at the rim is left short, and the rebound grabbed by Sanders. And here we go the other way with East trying to push it up court, but Schlib knocked it out of bounds, and with 6:05 to play in the second quarter, it's still 16-13 after all that.
That block shot down on the other end of the floor, that's one of those where you get hit, you get it blocked so hard that you just go down to the floor with the basketball, just a square up there.
Inbounds in the corner to Carson Thomas. He's double teamed, and he threw it off of Schlib, as he really didn't have anywhere to go, as Schlib and O'Neal had him hemmed in along the sideline. Sanders will inbound, looks for Brent Taylor. Taylor towards the timeline, moves now towards the center circle, leaves it back way on the right side to B.J. Powell. Skip pass to the left side to Taylor. Taylor double team, kicks it back, three on the way, left it short, and now the rebound. O'Neal Johnson blocks out, but the officials are going to talk here to make sure they have the same call. I wasn't sure if they were going to say over the back or undercut there, and I think that's what they were talking about.
It was O'Neal Johnson and Brendan Sanders that were going for that rebound.
I couldn't tell who shot that three.
That one was Carson Thomas who took it.
Thank you. He was at a bad angle for me to try to pick out which player that was.
And they did give Sanders a foul, by the way.
Penetrating is the Chargers. Schlib got into the lane, kicked it out to Todd McAboo for a wing three. No good. Rebound Carson Thomas. He'll bring it up court. We've had a lot of sound and fury, but only 2 points scored in this second quarter thus far.
Yeah, the Griffins 0 for 5 from the field so far.
Thomas gets it to Taylor, who spins to the baseline, makes a pass out to a teammate, and as he does, got up in the air. Foltz tried to draw a charge, but apparently he got to the spot too late.
Yeah, they'll call that blocking foul on Foltz. Kellen picks up his first, and that's the Chargers' first of the period.
Rick Gullimus going to send in Luke Vetter. Number 15, a 5'10 junior, as the inbounds pass is knocked loose, and coming away with it is O'Neal Johnson. So the Chargers will try to take advantage of a miscue from Lincoln Way East. As Johnson still out top on the dribble, now he gets it center circle to McAboo. McAboo waits, puts it on the floor, goes to Schlib on the right side. He looks for a cutter, nothing doing. Now Schlib has to move and get it out to McAboo to avoid a 5 count. Now McAboo works around his defender, drives inside, shot off the glass, no good. Chargers try to save it, but they can't do so. It's picked up by East. They lose the handle as they bring it up court. Thomas lost it in the lane, and McAboo goes to the floor to get it, and a timeout is called by the Chargers before he could get tied up. So with 4:35 to play in the first half of action, 16-13, Lincoln Way East leads Champaign Centennial, and we'll be back in 30 seconds on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking easy and convenient.
Heartland Human Services is proud to sponsor the Christmas Classic Championship. Your physical and mental health are similar. Take care of both for a happy, healthy life. If you have a passion for helping others, please apply today.
Well, we've had a lot of action, but just 2 points in the first 3.5 minutes of this quarter.
A couple of Brendan Sanders free throws are the only thing that have kept this from being the same score we had after the first quarter of play. Yeah, he's 2 for 2, but Lincoln Way East 0 for 5 from the field. Centennial 0 for 4 from the field, almost at the midpoint of the second quarter.
1-2-2, three-quarter court trap. They got it to Foltz on the sideline, and didn't he shuffle the feet?
I think he did.
Yeah, he got away with it, as now he finds McAboo in the lane. McAboo tried to pass it out. It's batted down, and Taylor comes away with the steal. Third turnover of the quarter for Champaign Centennial as Lincoln Way East works to the baseline. That is Brent Taylor. Turns, puts up a tough shot that's around and out. Foltz up high for the rebound, got hit from behind, and a foul is signaled against East.
Yeah, Foltz definitely had the position, so Lincoln Way East picking up its second foul of the period. That is Jacob Alexander, who was whistled, and he's the first player in this game to get a second foul.
So they quickly get him out, and Jack Mannion, the 6'7 senior, is in for East. As the Chargers just kind of seesaw the ball up the court between Foltz and Johnson. Foltz has it now on the right side. Double team, sends it left side to Johnson. Johnson works towards the corner, steps back for a long two, and he connects.
Tough shot. Just a little step-back jumper just inside the arc. Got it to go.
So O'Neal Johnson with his first bucket of the ball game makes it 16-15, back to a one-point affair. Vetter has it on the wing. Looks to Taylor in the corner. They go inside, kick it right back out to Taylor. Now inside to Thomas again. He turns, faces up, and he hits a tough shot from 16. Carson Thomas connects. He has 6, and it's 18-15.
Nobody can make a field goal until both teams step up with some pretty tough mid-range stuff.
Schlib skips it to Foltz. Foltz looks to the corner, pass batted away. Vetter come up with it, looks up court for Taylor, or no, rather Sanders. Sanders steps through against the defender, puts a shot up, and gets fouled.
Yeah, kind of a slick move there to the basket. Sort of a sidestep, letting the defender fly in there and stepping around him at the same time and getting himself to the free throw line. It's O'Neal Johnson's second foul, by the way. 3 for Centennial.
So the free throw is up. No good. Vetter's going to step back out of the lineup. B.J. Powell returns. Also, I believe, they got someone else up, but they didn't utilize him yet, I guess. This free throw is up, rattles around. It's off the mark. So Sanders stays in there, because he did hit the first one.
He did make the first one.
So he has 3. And now McAboo brings it up the right side, lost the handle. Fast break opportunity. They get it ahead to Taylor, and Taylor lays it in on the left side.
I think Taylor was thinking he might try to throw one down, but realized he didn't get the elevation he needed, settled for the layup, but still a 6-point lead for the Griffins.
2:48 on the clock. The Chargers take a timeout of Champaign Central. 21-15 here in the second quarter. 2:48 to play in the half. You're listening to the championship game of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic on 97.9 XFM.
Come see all the new and exciting Chevrolet and Toyota vehicles here at Dan Heck Chevrolet Toyota, South Route 45 in Effingham, or shop and buy 24/7 at danheck.com.
Person-to-person money transfer. Easy, the way it should be. Learn more at crossroadsbank.com. Crossroads Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Live streaming of the Christmas Classic Championship presented by Premier Broadcasting, 97.9 XFM and KJ Country.
Smith Moore, member FINRA and SIPC.
Pass in backcourt off the inbounds, knocked loose. Brent Taylor almost had a steal, but he just couldn't keep it under control.
Well, Centennial's been a little sloppy with the basketball this second quarter. They got 5 turnovers already and really came close to a half dozen right there on that play.
The 1-2-2 press as McAboo just brings it up the right side. Todd looks into Schlib. He's posting up. Turnaround jumper from 12, no good. Voldy McAboo wrestles the rebound away. Got fouled on the putback attempt, and Voldy McAboo will head to the free throw line for the Chargers.
Yeah, a lot of strength in that offensive board. McAboo didn't necessarily have the best position, but rose the highest for it, able to tear it out of there, and then gets himself to the free throw line. Second foul against Jack Mannion.
Free throw on the way is off the heel of the rim, no good. So Mannion has been coming in for Alexander, and those two each have 2 fouls. Now we've got a discussion with the official and Todd Lavin, as the first free throw was no good. And now the trainer's going to get involved in this situation.
Yeah, Troy Van Blaricum, the Effingham High School trainer, getting his medical bag out, and they're going to take a look at somebody.
Looks like Jaden Schlib is going to have a little blood, but it's on the back of his uniform. So he's like, I don't know where it came from. Wasn't me.
And he certainly doesn't want to come out of the basketball game, but he's going to have to, and that means that they're going to get Caden Pete off of their bench.
So Pete comes in, Schlib under the attention of Troy Van Blaricum, the trainer here at Effingham.
He'll do good work, I know that much.
Voldy McAboo's free throw this time is off the front of the rim, bounced a couple of times and didn't go in. Pete messed with the rebound. Mannion kept him blocked out, and eventually it was off of Pete, and it will be Lincoln Way East ball to bring the length of the court.
Yeah, Mannion with the good positioning there, and that ultimately leads to East getting the ball.
And East will inbounds in backcourt to B.J. Powell. Powell looks at a zone press of Champaign Centennial. They just throw it in the middle, right to Thomas. He attacks the right side of the lane, and Carson Thomas lays it up and in.
And it looks like Schlib may be wearing a different jersey number in a moment here. They got him a different one to wear.
23-16, the 7-point advantage is the largest for either team as Todd McAboo drives baseline, tried to kick it to the wing, picked off, lead pass up ahead for B.J. Powell, and Powell lays it up and in as Brent Taylor got the steal, fired it down court, and Powell took advantage, and Champaign Centennial is going to take another
person-to-person
minute 53 to play in the second quarter. It is Lincoln Way East 25 and Champaign Centennial 16 at the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Person-to-person money transfer. Easy, the way it should be. Learn more at crossroadsbank.com. Crossroads Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Tom Henderson State Farm Insurance helps people manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and help you realize your dreams. Contact Tom Henderson today.
Well, now they find blood on the shorts of Voldy McAboo. So he is checked out, but the good news is Jaden Schlib is back in, but he's wearing number 42 instead of number 32. They lob it to him to beat the press. He looks up court, made a nice pass just out in front of Voldy McAboo. He couldn't control it as he went under the basket, but he saved it inbounds to Schlib. Little jumper, no good, and Lincoln Way East grabs the rebound.
Yeah, Will Buchanan grabbed that board for the Griffins.
So he's out there wearing number 14 as Taylor handles it out top. Sends it across to Thomas. Thomas looks in the corner to Powell. Back out to Thomas. Deep three at the top of the key. Off the heel of the rim. No good. Rebound Buchanan. He flips it up and in. The 6'4 junior has his first 2 points. Makes it 27-16 as Lincoln Way East is just slowly pulling away here in the second quarter.
Yeah, not a lot of offensive rebounds for the Griffins tonight, but Buchanan able to capitalize on that one.
Voldy McAboo in the corner, tried to pass it out top. It's knocked down again by Taylor. This time it's picked up and they get it back to Taylor. He went for the dunk but had it blocked from behind by Voldy McAboo. The Chargers pick up the loose ball rebound as Schlib looks underneath to Voldy McAboo, who ran the court and got out in front of his defender, and McAboo sticks it up and in.
Nice little sequence there.
So it's 27-18 with 33 seconds on the clock, and Rich Columbus says, slow things down, maybe take the last shot here. It's 27-18. Brent Taylor with it, skips it across to Powell. Powell brings it to the center circle. Matched up with Fultz as the Chargers have been man-to-man this ball game. East works it back to Powell. Powell, 10 seconds on the clock, puts the offense in motion. Goes to the left side, around his man, into the lane, into a crowd. Shot up and blocked, but a foul is called as Powell really forced the issue.
Yeah, it could be Voldy McAboo, it could be Kellen Fultz. We'll wait to see what the signal was. And, of course, I was talking while the signal was giving, and it is actually that's going to be Kellen Fultz picking it up, his second.
So with 4.8 on the clock here in the second quarter, a couple of free throws for B.J. Powell. The 6-foot sophomore fires the lefty free throw up and in. He has 8. Thomas has 8. Taylor has 7 to lead the charge here at the end of the second quarter as Lincoln Way East is up 10.
Yeah, 7 Centennial turnovers have really stalled them out here in this second quarter.
And now you can make it an 11-point lead as Powell connects. Got to be in a hurry. O'Neal Johnson's pass up court tipped. He gets it back at the half-court line, heaves it towards the hoop. It's well short as the first half comes to a close. Lincoln Way East leads Champaign Centennial 29-18 as the teams head into the locker room of the championship game of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic here on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Did you know? Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Northside Ford on North Color Drive in Effingham will find a vehicle that works for you. Check out Northside Ford's selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs today.
Compass Advisory Group is here to guide you in the right direction for all of your investment and insurance needs. Contact Kurt Strohmeyer or Corey McDaniel at 217-347-9697.
Hi, this is Kathy from Barlow Lock and Security. Secure your home or business with a customized system from us. Good luck, area teams in the tournament.
Since 1937, Geckner Brothers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has been proud to support local and area teams, and that continues with this year's Christmas Classic. Good luck, area teams, from the family at Geckner Brothers.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking.
Heartland Human Services is proud to sponsor the Christmas Classic Championship. Your physical and mental health are similar. Take care of both for a happy, healthy life. If you have a passion for helping others, please apply today. Visit heartlandhs.org.
Halftime score 29-18 of this championship game as Lincoln Way East leads Champaign Centennial. It was close after the first quarter. No team led by more than 3 throughout the first period of action as Lincoln Way East edged Champaign Centennial 14-13 after 1. But then Champaign Centennial had trouble with turnovers that Dustin will tell us about with his numbers, and they just didn't get very many opportunities, and when they did, they struggled to connect. They only scored 5 points in that second quarter compared to 15 for Lincoln Way East as it's 29-18 at the half. Dustin has the halftime team stats. Let's kick it over to him.
All right, thank you, Matt. Centennial, again, 10 turnovers in that first half. I'm going to lead with that. They had 10 turnovers to Lincoln Way East's 4. Rebounds were even at 12 apiece, but it is, again, that turnover margin pretty wide in the favor of the Griffins. Centennial shot 30% from the field in the first half, 6 of 20. They were 4 for 12 in the first quarter, 2 out of 8 in the second quarter. Made 50% of the free throws, 3 out of 6. They shot 8 3-pointers, made 2 of them, 25% even there. Lincoln Way East, 47.6% shooting in the first half, 10 of 21. Did a good job at the free throw line, 87.5%, 7 out of 8 from the stripe, and they were 2 for 7, 28.5% on their 3-pointers. So there's your team numbers. I'll have those individual stats in just a moment.
Well, we'll take a 60-second break, come back with them, check for scores from around the area as well, and let you know what's happened here at the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic today as we wrap things up with the championship game as Lincoln Way East leads at the half 29-18 over Champaign Centennial here on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Come see all the new and exciting Chevrolet and Toyota vehicles here at Dan Heck Chevrolet Toyota, South Route 45 in Effingham, or shop and buy 24/7 at danheck.com.
For over 30 years, SPS has been providing care to the surrounding area. Specializing in around-the-clock and hourly care, we focus on in-home and nursing home care. If you need help with your loved ones, call Mitchell or Sherry today at 217-690-3240. Diedrich Bank is proud to sponsor the 10th Annual Christmas Classic. Diedrich Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Live streaming of the Christmas Classic Championship presented by Premier Broadcasting, 97.9 XFM.
29-18, the halftime score. Dustin has those individual numbers now.
All right, Centennial trailing Lincoln Way East. It is the Griffins of Lincoln Way East with 9 points leading the way for B.J. Powell. He's 3 for 4 from the field, including 1 for 2 on his three-pointers. Had a 2 for 2 trip to the line as well. With 8 points, it's Carson Thomas. He is 3 for 7 from the field, 2 out of 2 at the free throw line. He's got 3 rebounds tonight. Brent Taylor with 7 points. Man, he made a really long three-pointer in the first quarter. He's 1 for 2 from long range, 3 out of 6 overall with a rebound and 2 assists. 3 points for Brendan Sanders. He's 0 for 2 from the field, but has hit 3 out of 4 free throws and also has 3 rebounds. Will Buchanan, 2 points off the bench, made the only shot that he took. A couple of rebounds, including an offensive board that he got the putback bucket on. Jacob Alexander's 0 for 1 from the field with a rebound as well. And Jack Mannion, he's played but has yet to attempt a shot for Rich Columbus and the Lincoln Way East Griffins. For Centennial, for the Chargers, 10 points for Jaden Schlib leading the way. All 10 of those, though, came in the first quarter. He's 4 for 8 overall, including 2 out of 4 from three-point range, a couple of rebounds and an assist for him. After him, it's just a lot of people chipping in here and there. Todd McAboo with 2 points. He's 0 for 3 from the field, but 2 for 2 at the free throw line with a couple of rebounds. O'Neal Johnson, 1 for 4 from the field for his 2 points, 2 rebounds for him as well. Kellen Fultz is 0 for 2 from the field, 1 out of 2 at the free throw line with a couple of rebounds. And Voldy McAboo, 1 for 2 from the field, 0 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 points for him with 3 rebounds and an assist. Caden Pete, he's 0 for 1 from the field. He's yet to score. And Demaria Willis also played but did not attempt a shot. And again, it is Centennial with quarters of 13 and 5 for their 18 points, while Lincoln Way East had quarters of 14 and 15. They have the 29-18 lead in the championship of this Christmas Classic, Matt.
Thank you very much, Dustin, for those numbers here at the half. Again, 29-18 the score as the teams are getting some final instructions in the locker room. Actually, the Chargers of Champaign Centennial have made their way back out onto the court, even though they trail this one by 11. That's the largest lead that East has been able to build up in this contest. Let's take a 60-second break. I'll come back and let you know what's happened already today here at the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking easy and convenient.
Heartland Human Services is proud to sponsor the Christmas Classic Championship. Your physical and mental health are similar. Take care of both for a happy, healthy life. If you have a passion for helping others, please apply today. Visit heartlandhs.org.
Come see all the new and exciting Chevrolet and Toyota vehicles here at Dan Heck Chevrolet Toyota, South Route 45 in Effingham, or shop and buy 24/7 at danheck.com.
Live streaming of the Christmas Classic Championship presented by Premier Broadcasting, 97.9 XFM and KJ Country 102.3.
29-18 the score here at the half of the championship game of this 10th edition of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. It began this morning with games in the auxiliary gym at 10 a.m. as Effingham fell to Belvedere 59-46. Seneca picked up a win over Charleston in the 13th place game, followed up at 11:30. In the 7th place game, it was Teutopolis defeating Oaklawn 56-46. Also in the main gym at 10 this morning, it was a win in the 11th place game for Pleasant Plains over Chicago Brooks 56-31. And we moved then to the 5th and 6th place game as St. Anthony fell to Highland. What a great game. 56-53 the final as Highland escaped with the 3-point win. They were up by 10 and then all of a sudden it was a 2-point game with about 2.5 minutes to go. And St. Anthony never could get over the hump to get to the win, but they had a shot from inside their half-court line at about at the edge of the center circle, and it just was off the mark for 3 that would have tied it. It was a fun ball game, to say the least. Consolation championship, Newton defeated Mattoon 53-40, and then the third place game went to overtime as Lutheran North hit a 3 from the wing with about 4 seconds left to tie it and send it to overtime, and then they picked up the 69-63 victory, and that puts us here in this championship game where Champaign Centennial trails Lincoln Way East by the score of 29-18.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a big part of the story for Centennial was the turnovers in the second quarter. Rather, they committed 7 of their 10 in the second period. They're going to have to clean that up a little bit. Lincoln Way East was able to just sort of methodically take advantage of that and keep building out that edge. So now they get to play out front for the final part of this game and see what they can do about preserving their advantage.
Champaign Centennial will have the ball to start the second half of action as Todd McAboo tried to get it on the wing, and the pass was just picked off by Brent Taylor. He lobs it up. It's a catch and a shot right at the rim for Brendan Sanders, and that is not the start that the Chargers dreamed of as Lincoln Way East adds to their lead.
Yeah, that was just a little too easy.
Now they try to go inside to Schlib. Schlib had his shot blocked by Thomas, and then the ball came down and hit Schlib before it caromed out of bounds. So another possession now for Lincoln Way East to try to add to the lead.
Might have been forced there, and Thomas does a good job of keeping it clean, getting the clean block, and then fortuitous for the Griffins, it went out of bounds off the Chargers.
Brendan Sanders catches across the timeline, waits for help, and B.J. Powell will come set the offense. Takes it to the right side where he leaves it with Thomas. Thomas bounces it across to Sanders. Sanders looks in the corner to Taylor. Taylor out to Sanders, drives the right side of the lane, kicks it in the right corner to Powell for 3. No good. Rebound tapped around. It goes out top to Taylor. He drives the lane, thinks better of it, takes it out to the corner, finds himself open for 3, pulls the trigger on the shot. It's no good. Another offensive rebound grabbed by Carson Thomas for Lincoln Way East. As he maneuvers for a shot, he's fouled, and Thomas will go to the line.
Well, Lincoln Way East doubling its total of offensive rebounds in one trip down the floor. Their third shot at the basket was what resulted in this foul that gets Thomas to the free throw line. That's 3, by the way, for Kellen Foltz for the Chargers.
Carson Thomas's free throw is off the mark, no good. So the score remains 31-18 at the moment, with Lincoln Way East in the lead. Couple of dribbles. Thomas picked it up, now put one more dribble down, and this free throw is nothing but net. So he has 9, matching B.J. Powell's 9. They have the leading score honors for Lincoln Way East. Meanwhile, the Chargers beat the press this time. Nice pass from Schlib over to Johnson. Jacob Alexander went for the blocked shot, but he got too much of Johnson, and O'Neal Johnson goes to the line.
Yeah, that means Jacob Alexander has just picked up a third personal. So Kellen Foltz has got 3 for the Chargers. Alexander 3 for Lincoln Way East. There haven't been a ton of fouls whistled, but those guys have picked up quite their share.
Free throw on the way for O'Neal Johnson is good. He has his third point of the night. Makes it 32-19. And is that because they're kind of the last line of defense sometimes? And
could be last man on the scene is the one who gets the whistle, huh?
I don't know. O'Neal Johnson's free throw is good. He hit them both. Makes it a 12-point contest, 32-20. Walking it up court is B.J. Powell. His team has the ball and the lead. He leaves it on the wing with Taylor. Now out top to Thomas. Thomas works down the lane on the left side. Lost control. Ball tipped around, and they say the Chargers touched it last, but I think they're going to talk this one over.
Yeah, I don't know that the baseline official ended up getting the best look at it, and after getting help from a colleague, they do turn that call around.
I love it when officials get together and talk. Just make sure you get it right, and nobody had too much pride there, and I think they got the call correct. Chargers bounce it across the timeline to Foltz. They look to Schlib in the lane. He moves to the left block, leans in around the defender, shot up and good. Jaden Schlib was 12, but he needs some more help as his team's down by 10.
That's the first 2 points for Jaden Schlib in the 42 jersey. He was wearing number 32 in the first quarter when he scored all 10 of his previous points.
Had to come out with a little blood on the jersey, and nobody ever seemed to know where that came from. Meanwhile, pushing it up the right side is Powell. Powell got underneath and had his shot blocked from behind. It'll stay with Lincoln Way East, though, as they will inbounds from under the basket.
Second shot that Voldy Macabou has blocked.
Inbounds goes into the corner to Carson Thomas. 3 on the way, no good. Rebound, Todd Macabou. Tried to get it ahead to Fultz, but the pass is kicked away, and that prevented what would have been an easy layup. So it'll still remain with Champaign Centennial, but a nice job there of East interrupting the flow.
Yeah, Griffin's getting back on defense because Macabou didn't waste any time. Got that rebound. He was running out and threw it well up the floor, but black and blue jerseys covering it.
Inbounds pass on the weak side of the lane to Voldy Macabou. He sticks it up and in. He has 4, and it's 32-24, a 12-point game again with 5:40 on the third quarter clock. They look inside, now kick it out. 3 on the way from the wing for Jacob Alexander is good. So I misspoke. It was 8. Now it's 11 as the lead's back to double digits for the Griffins.
Yeah, just when you thought Centennial might be climbing its way back in the game, Lincoln Way East gets a three-pointer to Alexander's first points of the game to stretch it back out to double digits.
Todd Macabou to Voldy Macabou in the corner, back around to Fultz, now to Todd Macabou, again to Fultz on the left wing, to Todd Macabou. They go on the side to Johnson. Johnson down in the corner. Brings it back out to the wing. Looks for Macabou, top of the key. To Fultz, to Voldy Macabou, left baseline. Back to Todd Macabou. Fakes a 3, drives into the lane, got bumped, and there's a foul before any sort of a shot, but it's going against Lincoln Way East.
Should be Brendan Sanders who was impeding Macabou's path to the basket. They will give it to him. That's 2 for Sanders and the second team foul for the Griffins.
Schlib triggers the inbounds in the corner to Macabou. He tried to get it back, but the pass was tipped from Johnson, and it goes out of bounds. Griffins are saying, who hit that? But apparently someone did.
I'm equally uncertain of who it was, but I don't have the best look.
Chargers inbound from deep in the corner. They get it out top to Macabou to Fultz. Back to Schlib. Top of the key. He'll square up for that 3, and he buries it. Jaden Schlib has 15, and it's 35-27 again. The Chargers are within 8.
Well, it kind of has the feel like it's going to be up to Schlib. If the Chargers are going to get all the way back in this, he's going to have to keep knocking down shots like that.
Out on the perimeter, there's a Schlib foul. That's not going to help their cause.
That's only 1 for him at least, but a little bit over-aggressive there defensively as he picks up, again, his first 2 team fouls for the Chargers.
4:26 on the third quarter clock. It's 35-27. Inbounds right at the timeline, and B.J. Powell got the break set for the Griffins before it was an over and back. Then he gets it down in the corner to Sanders. They go into the post. Carson Thomas, turnaround jumper, rattled out, no good from 10, and the rebound to Voldy Macabou. To Schlib, up to O'Neal Johnson. A wing 3, no good. Up high on the weak side is Brent Taylor for the rebound. Outlet ahead to Powell. Powell crosses the timeline, settles down, and waits for help. Goes to Thomas on the wing. Tried to get it into to Taylor, rather. The ball knocked loose, went right to a teammate in the corner, and then right back into Taylor in the lane. He was triple teamed, so he kicked it out of trouble. And Rich Columbus says, this doesn't look right. Let's talk. It'll be a 30-second timeout with 3:51 to play in the third quarter. It's Lincoln Way East 35, Champaign Centennial 27 on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Hi, this is Kathy from Barlow Lock and Security. Secure your home or business with a customized system from us. Good luck, area teams in the tournament.
For over 30 years, SPS has been providing care to the surrounding area. Specializing in around-the-clock and hourly care, we focus on in-home and nursing home care. If you need help with your loved ones, call Mitchell or Sherry today at 217-690-3240.
3:51 to play in the third quarter. 35-27. Lincoln Way East leads Champaign Centennial.
I mean, Lincoln Way East, they had the lead by 13 at halftime, so Centennial has been able to chip into that a little bit, but Griffins with the basketball.
Griffins looking to add to their 8-point advantage now as they inbounds in backcourt, and Powell just walks it across the timeline. Now looks on the wing to Sanders. He will fire the three. Shot no good. Rebound, Voldy McAboo. Seems like he's grabbed a few rebounds lately.
He's up to 5.
Sends it to Schlib. Schlib rotted up court. Finds Todd McAboo left wing. Looks in the corner to Fultz. Fultz holds. Looks for some help. Now puts the ball on the floor. Skip pass across to O'Neal Johnson. Into the lane. Back to Fultz. 15-footer from the wing is good. Kellen Fultz connects. He has 3. And here's Champaign Centennial back within 6.
Closest they have been in quite a while.
It was 14 about 3 minutes ago. Now it's a 6-point ball game. As Columbus's Lincoln Way East Griffins work it around the perimeter. They get it top of the key for 3. It's off the mark for Taylor, and the rebound grabbed by Todd McAboo this time. Ahead to Fultz on the left wing. Back out to McAboo. They swing it around the perimeter. O'Neal Johnson, corner 3. It's good. O'Neal Johnson with 7, and with 2:45 to play in the third quarter, we've got another timeout taken. This will be a full timeout for Lincoln Way East as the lead went from 14 to 3. 2:46 on the third quarter clock. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking easy and convenient.
Come see all the new and exciting Chevrolet and Toyota vehicles here at Dan Heck Chevrolet Toyota, South Route 45 in Effingham, or shop and buy 24/7 at danheck.com.
Person-to-person money transfer. Easy, the way it should be. Learn more at crossroadsbank.com. Crossroads Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC. Video and audio streaming of the 10th Annual Christmas Classic Championship Game is proudly presented by Premier Broadcasting, Classic Hits 97.9 XFM, and KJ Country 102.3.
None.
Big goose egg. They have taken better care of the basketball, and that last possession is a pretty good example of it. Good ball movement, got the open three-pointer, and they're able to get themselves back into this basketball game.
Benches seem to be getting a little shorter as the starters have gone the entire way here in the third quarter. As the Griffins work it around the perimeter, Powell brings it back out top. Looks inside, nothing doing. Backs out even closer to the timeline. Now goes into the lane himself. Draws a crowd, shot up, blocked by Schlib. Rebound Fultz ahead to Voldy McAboo, driving for the layup, and he got it. Voldy McAboo with 6, and it's a 1-point ball game as Champaign Centennial is trying to come all the way back, down 14 in this quarter.
Yeah, the momentum is leaning way in the Chargers' direction right now.
Working it to Sanders, left wing. They get it top of the key to Carson Thomas. He rises on an elbow jumper. It's no good. Great rebound by Jacob Alexander in between a couple of Chargers that eventually do tie him up, but the possession arrow does stay with Lincoln Way East.
Yeah, pretty tough shot for Carson Thomas there. You can tell that he wants to hit the big one for them there, but not a lot of space.
Inbounds worked around the perimeter. They try to force it into Alexander. Ball batted back out of bounds, and so East will inbound again from the baseline.
Voldy McAboo got his hand on that. He's had a really good third quarter for the Chargers.
Inbounds comes to Thomas on the wing. He looks out top to Taylor. Taylor holds, now goes to Thomas left side. He'll fire a wing 3. It's around and out, no good. Fultz grabs the rebound, and here comes Champaign Centennial with a chance to take the lead. They go to Todd McAboo, to Johnson in the left corner. He looks to Voldy McAboo, who drives to the paint, had it knocked loose, gets it back, sends it to Johnson in the corner for 3. It's no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Lincoln Way East and Brendan Sanders. They run it up court, but back defensively with Champaign Centennial. So they go out top to Powell, do the Griffins. They leave it with Taylor. Taylor moves from the top of the key to the right side, put up a tough shot under duress, and Fultz apparently got too close, and he's whistled for the foul.
Well, that was after the release. It had to be, but Taylor And really, Carson Thomas a couple of times down the floor here, too. Some very tough looks. Lincoln Way East seems to just be wanting to rush these shots a little bit. And Taylor fortunate to get himself to the free throw line here. But that is 4 fouls for Kellen Fultz there. So that's a big one for the Centennial Chargers.
Free throw rolls around and drops through for Brent Taylor. He has 8 in the ball game. And as you mentioned, that big foul, they bring in Caden Pete, the 6'5 senior, to replace him. And you mentioned some of these shots rushed, maybe don't need that look, but you got to remember, it's hard to remember that this is three sophomores and 2 juniors out there for Lincoln Way East.
Yeah, you want to win pretty badly as that second free throw for Taylor misses, and McAboo with another rebound.
So he gets it to Todd McAboo, who works to the right side over to Schlib. Brings it out on the wing, now drives into the lane, goes to Voldy McAboo in the corner. Didn't catch it cleanly, so he sends it out to Todd McAboo once he got it under control. Now to Schlib right side. Schlib makes a motion, asks for a screen, now takes it to the left wing, behind the back dribble, got it knocked loose, and Powell gets the steal. Johnson goes back to hassle him, preventing the easy layup as O'Neal Johnson just looked to me like he was kind of committing the foul intentionally there without it being an intentional foul.
Yeah, doing it smoothly, without, being overt about it, I guess would be the way to put it, but does make him earn it at the free throw line, and that's the first Centennial turnover in a while that led to that run out.
Free throw on the way is nothing but net for Powell. He says, fine, I can do it this way too. As Mannion's going to check into the ball game for Jacob Alexander.
And you mentioned benches shortening, so that 4th foul for Fultz, does it disrupt the Centennial rhythm that they had going as they were sort of getting back into this basketball game? You'll have to wait and see.
And sitting down, Alexander with his 3 fouls to protect him at the end of the quarter, as that free throw for Powell is good as well. He has 11, pushes the lead back to 4. McAboo to the timeline. That's Todd bouncing it to Voldy. Voldy went with the one-handed catch, didn't corral it, and along the sideline, what a play by Carson Thomas to save it and get it to a teammate for Lincoln Way East.
Yeah, he's holding himself up kind of in a plank position to keep from going down, and with the other hand, flipped it to a teammate. Great body control.
15 seconds to play in the third quarter, as clearly the Griffins are going for the last shot.
It looked like Matt Robinson doing yoga there.
No. Powell drives the right side, draws a crowd, kicked it out to Taylor. Taylor works to the top of the key, forced up a shot ahead of the buzzer. It goes out of bounds with 0.5 seconds on the clock. So it'll have to be a catch and quick shoot for Lincoln Way East here.
And again,
the length of the court to go. For Champaign Centennial.
Not the shot you were hoping for.
No. Inbounds to Schlib. He catches and throws it. It's going to hit a rafter or a speaker and bounce back down to the floor as the third quarter comes to a close. But we've got a ball game, a 4-point contest as we head into the final quarter of the championship game of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Tom Henderson State Farm Insurance helps people manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and help you realize your dreams. Contact Tom Henderson today.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Northside Ford on North Keller Drive in Effingham will find a vehicle that works for you. Check out Northside Ford's selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs today.
Compass Advisory Group is here to guide you in the right direction for all of your investment and insurance needs. Contact Kurt Strohmeyer or Corey McDaniel at 217-347-9697.
Hi, this is Kathy from Barlow Lock and Security. Secure your home or business with a customized system from us. Good luck, area teams, in the tournament.
One quarter left to play. Lincoln Way East leads Champaign Centennial 38-34. Centennial hit 6 of 9 shots in that third quarter. 2 out of 2 at the free throw line, 2 for 4 on its 3-pointers. Lincoln Way East just 2 of 13 from the field, 4 out of 6 at the free throw line, 1 for 7 on its threes. Rebounds even at 7 apiece. 3 Centennial turnovers to the Griffins, 1.
Chargers trying to work the offense as it's their ball to start the fourth quarter. They got it to Voldy McAboo at the high post as they set up in a 1-4 across the free throw line extended, and a foul was whistled.
Yep, that one's going to go against B.J. Powell for Lincoln Way East, his first, and obviously the team's first. We're just 9 seconds into this fourth quarter.
Schlib looking to get the ball inbounds, finds O'Neal Johnson, who has to track it down in the corner on the left side. He's now moved to the wing, got it into a posting Pete. Pete hooks a shot up, and he gets it to go as Caden Pete has his first 2 points of the ball game.
That's just good old-fashioned big man play right there, the post up and the hook shot.
So it's a 2-point game again, 38-36, as swinging it around the perimeter are the Griffins. They lead and they have the ball. They work it to Mannion. Mannion's open for three, and the big man buries it on the left side. Jack Mannion connects on a big bucket, making it 41-36, back to a 5-point edge for the Griffins. Todd McAboo handling on the perimeter, sends it out to O'Neal Johnson, left wing. He gets a screen from Pete, goes opposite, squares up for a three. It's off the heel of the rim. Pete, though, grabs the offensive rebound out to Johnson. Johnson trying to bounce it into the post to Pete, and as the pass was coming in, Mannion apparently pushed from behind.
That's going to be three for Mannion. So Mannion and Alexander, the big guys for Lincoln Way East, each with 3 fouls. So worth keeping an eye on. We still got a lot of basketball left to play in this fourth quarter.
6:56 showing on the clock to be specific. McAboo inbounds to Schlib. Schlib on the post, double team out to Johnson. 3 on the way, off the front of the rim, no good. Long rebound pushed out by Sanders. Sanders driving up the left side, and both officials blew the whistle and waved off the shot, saying a foul occurred on the floor before any sort of a shot.
But again, that's sort of one of those where, again, you just got to get a hand on him and not let him get that easy layup, because that was what Alexander was headed for. Schlib picks up his second foul.
Inbounds into the corner, and they immediately tried to trap Powell, but he got it out of trouble. They work it to Carson Thomas, who gets into the lane. Shot flipped up, no good. Rebound grabbed by Mannion out on the wing to Sanders, a 3. It's missed. Pete tries to save this rebound as he and Carson Thomas are both going after it, and apparently Thomas hit it last for the Griffins, so the Chargers will have the possession.
Another tough shot for Thomas doesn't go down. He had 8 points at halftime. He's been limited to just 1 free throw here after halftime.
Todd McAboo across the timeline to Schlib, right wing. He's got Sanders right with him. Gets around the screen, goes to McAboo in the corner, spins left baseline. What a move, but he can't finish the shot. But Pete grabs the rebound, sends it out to Voldy McAboo, into Todd McAboo, out to Schlib, drives the wing. They got to the baseline, shot on the left side, no good. Rebound ripped out of there by the Griffins as Powell pushes it up court. Leaves it on the side. Crashing his way into the lane is Thomas, and they'll say Thomas traveled before he got a shot up.
I think that Thomas was anticipating some contact that didn't end up being there. He was sort of almost reaching out to steady himself, and there was nobody there, so the feet just slid, and he commits the Griffins' first turnover of the period.
The official that inbounded the ball, or is administrating that, didn't see that a substitution was taking place, so they reset, and that allows Kellen Foltz to get back in the lineup for the Chargers.
He's playing with 4 fouls for the Chargers.
Todd McAboo across the timeline. Having a little trouble with it as he's hassled by Powell, but eventually goes to Johnson on the left wing. Johnson gets a Schlib screen, tries to penetrate, goes back on the wing to Schlib for 3. It's no good. Voldy McAboo grabbed the rebound and flipped it back out top where his brother Todd could track it down. Over to Voldy. He's along the sideline, almost out of bounds, but he got it in the lane to Schlib. 15-footer turnaround jumper rattled out, no good. That was 3/4 of the way down, and the rebound to the Griffins. Powell brings it up court, leading by 5 with 5:11 to play in the championship game of this Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. A long pass picked off by O'Neal Johnson. It's along the sideline. He whips it behind his back, saves it to Foltz. Foltz ahead to Schlib, and Schlib is fouled.
Yeah, that was O'Neal Johnson. I mean, talk about athletic. Going into the Lincoln Way East bench, just flipped that one behind the back, like you said, as his momentum was carrying him out of bounds. Sets up the trip down the floor, which is going to eventually get the Chargers to the free throw line on the second foul against Lincoln Way East's B.J. Powell.
So Schlib will be at the line. A 6'5 sophomore, leading scorer for this team, has 60 tournament points thus far, puts the free throw up and in. He has 16 now in the ball game, returning a couple of players for the East Club.
Yeah, Mannion and Buchanan sit down for East, and it looks like they got at least Brent Taylor back in the fray. I didn't see who the other was.
Jacob Alexander.
Very good.
Schlib puts this free throw up, and it's good. So he has 17 now in the ball game, and it's a three-point contest, 41-38 with just under 5 minutes to play. Boy, entertaining championship game. They're battling it out here as Lincoln Way East has it with Powell. Across the timeline, backed out. Boy, he had a man wide open as they lost him for a second under the basket, but they didn't see Thomas. Thomas came to the wing, drives into the lane, got in the air, and kind of made that shot more difficult than it needed to be. Absolutely. Left it short. Voldy McAboo grabs it, goes length of the court, lays it up and in.
McAboo gets his 8th defensive rebound of the game and then just goes coast to coast and gets himself the easiest bucket he'll have all night.
8 rebounds, 8 points. Solid game in the championship. As handling it out top is Thomas. A 1-point game, 41-40. East with the ball and the lead. Out top, Taylor hands it off to Thomas. Thomas backs out to the center circle. Halfway through the fourth quarter, he's going to put the offense in motion. Goes to the right side, gets all the way to the basket, lays it up and in. B.J. Powell with the bucket.
Hadn't scored a field goal since the second quarter. Picks a good time to make one.
Schlib across the timeline, matched up with Sanders. Gets it over to Todd McAboo. Todd works across the center circle over to the right side. Lost the handle, and did the East touch it? Apparently they did.
A couple of times they kind of knocked it free from Todd McAboo. He was trying to turn the corner and go to the basket.
Schlib triggers the inbounds to Voldy McAboo to Todd McAboo. He's going to drive into the lane from the wing, and there's a bump and a foul.
It seems like McAboo's really just, he is dead set on getting into the paint, driving toward the basket. And listen, it's not a bad strategy because that was the 4th team foul on Lincoln Way East. It goes against B.J. Powell, his 3rd, so now Chargers are in the bonus.
Inbounds goes in the corner to O'Neal. He loads up a 3 that would have tied it, but the shot's no good. Todd McAboo, a weak side rebound, squirms for a shot inside. He missed it. This rebound to Sanders. He falling down, got it out to Powell. Powell brings it up court to Thomas. Chargers back defensively. Thomas waits on the right wing. Now picks up his dribble. Needs a little help over there, and it's going to come from Rich Columbus, who takes the timeout with 3:05 to play in the fourth quarter. It's Lincoln Way East 43, Champaign Centennial 40. You're listening to the championship game of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Since 1937, Geckner Brothers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has been proud to support local and area teams, and that continues with this year's Christmas Classic. Good luck, area teams, from the family at Geckner Brothers.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking easy and convenient.
3:05 to play in this one. 43-40. Champaign Centennial has got as close as 1, but they haven't had a lead or had this tied since they were up by 1 back in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln Way East, again, has had some much larger leads than this, but Centennial, good job of making a game of it, and it's anybody's ball game with 3 to go.
Boy, a great crossover move by B.J. Powell. He gets in the lane, left the shot short, but there's an offensive rebound and a putback, and I believe it was Carson Thomas who got that one up and in. They're even checking at the scoreboard as there was just a crowd of people up there towards the basket. Meanwhile, Schlib brings it to the wing, leaves it in the corner with Johnson. He penetrates, now needs some help as he's picked up his dribble, and they get it back out to Todd McAboo.
I think they eventually gave that bucket to B.J. Powell, so he must have gotten his own rebound.
Okay, so I have him with 15 then in the ball game.
I concur.
All right, Schlib, 2:20 on the clock on the right side. Rises on a 3. The defender was right there. Got him in the air. He forced him to take an awkward shot. Came up well short. And there's a Lincoln Way East rebound. And now time is becoming more of an issue as East has a 5-point lead. They have the ball. The Chargers in the man-to-man defensively. And there's a travel out top. Carson Thomas went to the right and then just the foot skidded on him, and it gives it to Champaign Centennial.
3rd turnover of the quarter for Lincoln Way East. Only 8 in the game for them, but Centennial hasn't turned it over once in this 4th period.
Well, McAboo looking to go to the high post to Voldy McAboo, and he kind of got undercut as he went up in the air to catch the ball, and picking up a foul from behind will be Jacob Alexander.
Well, that's tough for Alexander for a couple reasons. First of all, that's his fourth personal, so he's got to play the rest of this game knowing another infraction will get him on the bench the rest of the night. But also, that's 5 team fouls, so it goes to the bonus. Voldy McAboo at the line.
First of 2 free throws is up and good. Voldy McAboo with 9 with 1:51 to play in the contest.
And I got to tell you, Voldy McAboo, not a real big factor in this game in the first half. He has had a whale of a second half today.
Free throw up and good, so he's in double figures with 10 points, and he's close to that with rebounds if he isn't already there as well.
He's got 8 boards.
All right, 1:50 on the clock, a 3-point game. A little more pressure here in the backcourt as now they double team, and a trip and a fall by Powell. Turnover, they get it to Voldy McAboo. His shot right in the paint, no good. Rebound Todd McAboo, but he's pinned under the basket. Jumps back in for a shot. It's no good. Rebound batted out of bounds as Thomas had it for a second, but it's knocked away by the Chargers, and it will be East keeping possession. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Centennial uses that pressure to create the turnover, got some looks at the glass, but not a real clear path to the rim at any of them.
1:32 on the clock. It's 45-42. Lincoln Way East with the lead. A 30-second timeout. We'll join them for that break and be back here on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Level up your cooking.
For over 30 years, SPS has been providing care to the surrounding area. Specializing in around-the-clock and hourly care, we focus on in-home and nursing home care. If you need help with your loved ones, call Mitchell or Sherry today at 217-690-3240. Live streaming of the Christmas Classic Championship presented by Premier Broadcasting, 97.9 XFM and KJ Country 102.3.
1:32 to play in the fourth quarter. Dare I say regulation of this championship game as Champaign Centennial keeps battling, closing in, and then East just keeps them barely at bay here in this second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, Centennial's never been able to quite pull even, but they have certainly made a great game of this. We've had a lot of fun.
It'll be Sanders looking to get the ball inbounded. He finds Taylor. Taylor sees a double team coming. Up-court pass knocked loose, but Sanders comes back to get it. Now East has an opportunity, but they just kind of slow things down, play it conservatively as Thomas has it on the wing.
Yeah, they certainly had some numbers after that pressure didn't result in a turnover, and Rich Colima says, I'm going to use another one.
Yep, that should leave him with 1 timeout with 1:14 to play. His team leads 45-42. Lincoln Way East over Champaign Centennial in the championship game of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. We'll take a 30-second break and be back. You're listening to high school basketball action on Classic Hits 97.9 XFM.
Portland Human Services is proud to sponsor the Christmas Classic Championship. Your physical and mental health are similar. Take care of both for a happy, healthy life. If you have a passion for helping others, please apply today. Visit heartlandhs.org. Diedrich Bank is proud to sponsor the 10th Annual Christmas Classic. Diedrich Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Minute 14 to play in this one as Lincoln Way East leads 45-42. They'll have the ball at the half-court line.
Well, the Griffins very nearly turned it over, and then once they got it on their end of the floor, Rich Colima saw that everything was just a little disjointed for his team, so decided to burn one of his 2 remaining timeouts just to get them all on the same page.
Brendan Sanders inbounds it to Brent Taylor. He's right up by the half-court line, now tries to work to the wing, gets around one man, goes into the lane, got bumped and fouled, but that's not that big of an issue in one sense for the Chargers.
No, that's only the second team foul for Centennials. It was, I thought it was going to be Voldy McAboo. They give it to O'Neal Johnson instead. That's a big one because that's 4 for him instead of 1 for McAboo, who I thought was right around the play.
And I think Johnson probably didn't realize they called him for that foul, and now he just bumps again.
Well, that's going to be 5 for him.
And I bet he's going to be shocked when he hears that.
I am almost certain That foul should have gone against Voldy McAboo. But they did say 2-3, and then he immediately fouled again. So just like that, O'Neal Johnson out of the basketball game. That is 4 team fouls, by the way.
And even though it hasn't come up much in this ball game, in earlier contests, we've seen him knock down shots from beyond the perimeter. And now Tim Lavin is talking with the officials, and they're making sure he's questioning, hey, what other foul? Who was that on? And they indeed point to O'Neal Johnson again. So it's the way it goes.
That's life in the big city.
Sanders trying to get the ball inbounded, finds Alexander, looks baseline, and the pass is behind Taylor, but that's because it was tipped by the Chargers. Chargers are saying it's our ball, but nope, the official right away indicated a tipped pass, so it will remain with East. He inbounds in the corner to Alexander. His pass out top, knocked away by Voldy McAboo, but he knocked it out of bounds along the sideline. So now it'll be East inbounding again from the sideline.
Active hands, making things difficult, trying to force another turnover. That might be what it takes here.
So, with 57.4 seconds left, this time it's Brent Taylor inbounding in the backcourt to B.J. Powell. Double teamed in backcourt, trying to work around it with the dribble. Now lobs it up court. They get it to Thomas, who crosses the timeline. They look underneath for Alexander. He's behind the defense, and he lays it up and in.
Big bucket for the Griffins.
5-point lead with 40 seconds on the clock. Schlib fires it up court to Fultz, and Fultz traveled with it. Nope, we've got a timeout before the travel. Wow.
Boy, oh boy. And the whistle came at the same time. But it's when you hear the timeout called too, not whenever the whistle is blown. So as soon as you hear the timeout, that's when you get it, even if something happens on the floor in front of you.
It's just going to be a quick timeout, so we'll keep it right here. But yes, the whistle was simultaneous. It sounded like just one whistle up there in the booth. I look at one official. He's starting to indicate travel, but the other official immediately was pointing, I got a timeout here, and they handled that properly as well. And, maybe that's why this third team, the officials, are in this championship game as well.
Could be. That is the 4th timeout that Centennial has used. So by my count, 1 apiece for each of these clubs. A 60-second timeout that each of them has. But with 37.9 seconds to go for Centennial, it's going to be all about getting yourself a very quick bucket here. You probably don't care which it is. You just need to score fast.
I would agree with that. The time is the most pressing issue here. And obviously you're trying to get Jaden Schlib the ball, you would think, but hey, guess who knows that too?
Yeah, I'm sure he was talked about a little bit in the Lincoln Way East huddle as well.
Inbounds to Voldy McAboo. He's out top with it. Looks on the side to Fultz. Now they do get it to Schlib. Corner 3 on the way. Off the back rim, no good. Weak side rebound to Voldy McAboo, but he did put his hands on Taylor to kind of push himself away to be able to grab that board.
And they ran a play. For Schlib out of that timeout to get him that look in the corner. He didn't really get that much space to shoot it, though. It was a contested look. He wasn't necessarily square to the basket either, and couldn't get it to go.
And look, not a smart play in my mind by Voldy McAboo. Hey, if you get away with it, great. If they call a foul on you, so what? In this situation with 28 seconds left, they send Brent Taylor to the line, and he missed the first of 2.
Well, and with this situation now where there is no 1-and-1, everything's 2 shots. Really, in this late game situation, getting him to the line and having him miss at least 1's the best you can hope for.
See what happens on the second one from Taylor. It's up and good, so he splits the pair. He has 9. In a hurry is the inbounds to Schlib. He flips it back to Fultz, and Fultz got away with a walk, maybe. They go to Schlib. Schlib, long 3, no good. Rebound, Todd McAboo, stripped from behind. The ball sails out of bounds as it was last touched by B.J. Powell. It looked awful funny if it wasn't a travel in backcourt by Fultz.
I will say Fultz has got some interesting footwork.
Yes.
It looks like he travels a lot.
Yes. Fultz is trying to get the ball inbounded, finds Schlib way out on the wing, takes it to the left side, rises on a 3. It's off the mark. Rebound, Todd McAboo in the lane. Got it stripped. It's loose on the floor. Coming down with it is the Griffins as they track it down in the corner, and it looks like the Chargers are going to let it go. Trailing by 6, and the final score is going to be Lincoln Way East 48 and Champaign Centennial 42. in a great basketball game in a tournament filled with lots of great contests here at the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. They're going to have a presentation of the all-tournament team members after this one and after the teams exchange handshakes. So we'll just stay here for a moment and make sure we catch that here on the radio and on our live stream. And if you appreciate our live stream, don't be afraid to leave us a comment. If you appreciate the radio broadcast, don't be afraid to drop us a line as well at the radio stations by email, info@thexradio.com. Anything like that will work.
I could give my Venmo details also if anybody's interested in that.
You might be getting a little hopeful with that. They are going to present trophies for the first place team, the Lincoln Way East Club, and Champaign Centennial as well. We'll see if we can join in with the presentation as they ask the captains to come forward from the Chargers, and Kellen Foltz steps forward to grab the trophy, the second place prize for Champaign Centennial. The Lincoln Way East Griffins gratefully accept a beautiful trophy down on the court. It's a basketball on top of a little wooden plaque, so to speak, as now they have to recognize the all-tournament team members. And they've been doing this throughout the day, and we'll recap the entire list. But players from this game, Todd McAboo from Centennial, the hard-working point guard, earns honors on this all-tournament team, and it is a group filled with great players. From Lincoln Way East, another point guard, B.J. Powell, recognized as an all-tournament team member.
From Centennial,
Jaden Schilb. All-tournament team member is Schlib, makes the list.
And also from Lincoln Way East, Carson Thomas.
And rounding out the list from this game is Carson Thomas of Lincoln Way East. So all tournament team members throughout this entire tournament. I'll just go ahead and run through the list here real quick. Dante Montgomery from Oaklawn, Garrett Gaddis from Teutopolis, Newton's Caden Nichols and Dylan Gear make the all-tournament team. Jake Otensmeyer from Highland, Paxton Gertz, a familiar name to this area. His father, Mark Gertz, played at Stu Strauss High School. He is now on the coaching staff at Seneca, and his son, Paxton, had a heck of a tournament as well. B.J. Powell and Carson Thomas from Lincoln Way East. From Dixon, Darius Harrington. Bryce Jean of Mattoon, well-deserved for that consolation team that fell in the consolation game to Newton. Also from St. Anthony, Colin Westendorf and Brock Fearday. From Centennial, again, Todd McAboo and Jaden Schlib. And from Lutheran North, A.J. Newton and Bryce Spiller. Makes up a very good all-tournament team here at the 2023 Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the post-game stats from Dustin, as we also will let you know about our broadcast plans for next week as well, as we wrap up the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic here on KJ Country 102.3.
Person-to-person money transfer. Easy, the way it should be. Learn more at crossroadsbank.com. Crossroads Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Tom Henderson State Farm Insurance helps people manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and help you realize your dreams. Contact Tom Henderson today.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Northside Ford on North Keller Drive in Effingham will find a vehicle that works for you. Check out Northside Ford's selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs today.
Compass Advisory Group is here to guide you in the right direction for all of your investment and insurance needs. Contact Kurt Strohmeyer or Corey McDaniel at 217-347-9697.
Washington Savings Bank is here for you through every stage of life. We make banking easy and convenient.
Heartland Human Services is proud to sponsor the Christmas Classic Championship. Your physical and mental health are similar. Take care of both for a happy, healthy life. If you have a passion for helping others, please apply today. Visit heartlandhs.org.
Welcome back to Effingham High School as we wrap up the 10th edition of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic, and we were treated with a great championship ball game. 48-42, Lincoln Way East defeated Champaign Centennial here tonight. In the third place game, it was Lutheran North over Dixon. Final score 69-63 in overtime. Fifth place game went to Highland as they defeated St. Anthony in another great contest, 56-53. In the seventh place game, it was Teutopolis defeating Oaklawn. Final score there, 56-46. As we look on down the list in the consolation game, it was Newton defeating Mattoon 53-40. In the 11th place game, it was Pleasant Plains over Chicago Brooks 56-31. In the 13th and 14th place game, it was a victory for Seneca over Charleston. And in the 15th and 16th place game today, it was Belvedere defeating Effingham by a final score of 59-46. Dustin's ready with the post-game numbers from this championship contest. Let's send it to him.
All right, thank you, Matt. Lincoln Way East won this game, shooting 38.1% from the field, 16 of 42, but they hit their free throws, 12 of 16. That's an even 75%. 25% on the Griffins three-pointers, 4 of 16. Centennial, 14 of 45 from the field, 31.1%. They were 2 of 16 in the fourth quarter, so whenever they were able to claw their way back into this game in the third period, just couldn't hit enough shots there in that fourth quarter, and again ended up at 31% for the game. 9 out of 12 were the Chargers from the free throw line. That's 75% there, and they were 4 for 20% on their three-pointers. Rebounds dead even at 28 apiece, and Centennial, despite those 7 turnovers in the second quarter, finished with just 14 in the game. Not a bad number considering all that, but Lincoln Way East only 9 turnovers for the evening. Individually, I'll start with the Chargers of Champaign Centennial. They got 17 points to lead the way from Jaden Schlib, and of course he made the all-tournament team here. Finished off his night on his tournament on 6 of 18 shooting tonight. 2 out of 2 at the free throw line with a couple of rebounds. Also 2 assists for Schlib. 10 points for Voldy McAboo, 4 for 6 from the field, 2 out of 4 at the free throw line. He had 8 rebounds. That was a game high total. He also had an assist, and he blocked a couple of shots. So did Schlib, by the way. I forgot to mention that, but a couple of swats for him as well. 7 points for O'Neal Johnson. He was 2 for 10 from the field, 2 out of 2 at the free throw line with a couple of boards. 2 points for Todd McAboo, 0 for 6 from the field, 2 out of 2 at the free throw line, but he also had 8 rebounds, equaling his brother Voldy's team high, game high as a matter of fact, and 5 of those boards for Todd were on the offensive glass. Caden Pete chipped in 2 points. He was 1 for 2 from the field off of the bench. He had a couple of rebounds. And Demaria Willis, he played just a bit, made a little bit of a cameo there in the first half. Never did attempt a shot. And he was the 7th and final Centennial player to see action in the game this evening. The Chargers fall to 10-4 on the season, but they are runners-up in this Christmas Classic, and really I think probably the top finish that they have had here. They won the 5th place game last year, but this is Centennial's 4th season here. They came into it with an 8-4 record in their play, and now they have 11 wins against just 5 losses in their 4 years in tournament play. For Lincoln Way East, winning its 3rd championship in 4 years, or at least in 4 times that the tournament's been held, because there was no 2020 edition for reasons that we don't have to talk about. 15 points for B.J. Powell on 5 of 10 shooting. He was 4 for 4 4 at the free throw line with 3 rebounds. And he was the only double-figure scorer for the Griffins, but they got 9 apiece from Brent Taylor and Carson Thomas. Taylor 3 for 9 from the field, 2 out of 4 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Thomas 3 for 13 from the field, 3 out of 4 at the free throw line. He scored 8 of his 9 in the first half, also grabbed 4 rebounds and blocked a shot to go with an assist. 5 points apiece for Brendan Sanders and Jacob Alexander. Sanders was 1 for 5 from the field, 3 out of 4 at the free throw line, but he did have 6 rebounds. That was a team high for the Griffins, and he dished out a couple of assists. Alexander 2 for 3 from the field, including a three-pointer on his only attempt from long range, and again he also had 5 points to go with 3 rebounds. Will Buchanan and Jack Mannion off the bench. Each of them hit the only shot they took and had 2 rebounds. Mannion's shot was a three-pointer. Buchanan's was a putback in the paint, so he finished with 2. And those were the only 2 guys that saw action off the bench for Rich Columbus and the Lincoln Way East Griffins. They improved to 9-4 with the victory in this 10th annual championship of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic. Again, they beat T-Town in the championship last year. In 2019, they beat Chicago Corliss for the championship 56-50. They also played in the championship in 21 and 17. So since they've been in this tournament, they have been a fixture in some of the late games on the last day of the tournament, and Rich Columbus and crew have their 3rd title in the 10th annual installment of this tournament. Matt.
Thank you very much, Dustin. We appreciate your work in this championship game and all throughout the tournament, as Greg Sapp also joined in with you on the Teutopolis side of things for the first couple of days of the tournament. And also thanks to Mason Robinson for stepping up and helping out as well here with games. Our board operators are tremendous, and they did a great job once again. Gail handled most of the responsibilities today back at the studio, with Caleb doing the first game for us. And Flex actually made him do some games this week, as well as Brian Dust. We appreciate their help as well back at the studios, and it's just a great tournament. Congratulations to the tournament committee on putting on a first-rate tournament once again, and neat opportunities to recognize some special people throughout this tournament as well, and that includes Steve DeClerc, the official refereeing his 50th season of high school basketball, and still doing a great job. He is going to retire after this season, but you could tell they kind of caught him by surprise, as it was an emotional ceremony there for Mr. DeClerc. And they also recognize Mike Woltman, as he will be retiring after the end of this school season. The athletic director here at Effingham has been instrumental in this tournament since its inception, and also recognize Greg Sapp as well. I think they caught him a little off guard with that as well, as a longtime broadcaster here in the area, our friend at Premier Broadcaster, still doing the news and stuff around the station and still helping us out with the sports broadcast when we need it, as we appreciate and need to recognize him, as he's been broadcasting for 47 years.
Yeah, Greg thought that he was coming here just to see Dave Woltman be honored, and he was out there getting ready to take a picture of those ceremonies, and they were like, hey, you need to get over there too. They've got a basketball for you. So that was a good moment. Lots of good moments at this tournament. There always are, and another one in the books. Great championship game, just top-notch, first class all along, and glad to have gotten a chance to be a part of it.
Thanks to Caleb for helping out with the live stream. We understand over 100 viewers on the live screen in a one-off production here tonight. That's a pretty remarkable number when you really think about it.
Sounds like maybe old Wayne Moran had a little bit to do behind the scenes as well, so thanks to him. Thanks to everybody for making this possible, and we had a great time being here. And the beauty of it is that it's been a busy week, but guess what? There's just a ton more basketball to happen this season.
Well, we're going to take some time off. We'll be back with you on Tuesday.
Awesome. 2 days.
2 whole days off. We'll be back with you on the 2nd. It's going to be Monticello at Teutopolis.
That'll be a good one.
Slated to be a 5:30 JV start, so the varsity a little ahead of schedule on that Tuesday night, but that'll be a fun one to be back with. Then girls action, we get to see South Central at Altamont in a girls National Trail Conference matchup, and then another big NTC matchup on the boys' side of things Friday night with Altamont at Dietrich. So that's our broadcast plans for next week.
South Central and Altamont, a couple of girls teams that played in the championship games of their respective holiday tournaments. South Central runners-up at Dietrich, and Altamont, of course, beat a very good Robinson team to win the Robinson tournament. And then, that game with Dietrich and Altamont, big NTC implications there because those are teams that are kind of figuring, by our math, to finish toward the top of the league standings.
That's the voice of Dustin White. Thanks for all your help throughout this Christmas Classic. Once again, Dustin, doing a great job. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me along.
And to everybody I mentioned, thanks again. If I left you out, I didn't mean to. Thanks to all the sponsors and everybody who helps make our broadcast possible, as well as the sponsors here of the Effingham-Teutopolis Christmas Classic that was won by Lincoln Way East. Final score, 48-42. I'm Matt Robinson. Have a great night, everybody.
Live streaming of the Christmas Classic Championship presented by Premier Broadcasting, 97.9 XFM and KJ Country 102.3.